Because like on your website, I'm looking at your reparations formula. You said that your plan for the loss of land, because you just brought the loss of land. You said there was $30 trillion had to be paid. Is that the correct amount? What you're planning for loss of land?
That's what I want to allocate to the Freedmen's Bureau
Okay.
to help deal and compensate us for the loss of land. Because my plan also calls for land grants.
Mm-hmm. Land grants, and you said each descendant of American freedmen will receive a bond of amount of 2.8 million.
So that
And
is a direct cash payment aspect. At
okay.
my formula as of now, we'll see every eligible recipient receive $2.8 million in cash, but you won't get that all at once. The federal government does not need our tax dollars for spending. That's a lie they teach us. Some of us believe it. A lot of people believe it, but it's a lie. And I'm not going to change my position because a lot of people believe it's a lie. However, the federal government, even though it's not limited by tax dollars, the federal government does have to account for inflation. So we cannot all get $2.8 million all at once. You know, the 45 to 50 million of us who will qualify. Because
Uh-huh.
reparations doesn't go to all black people. It only goes to those who are freedmen. So it's 51 million of us according to the census, which undercounts us. I know they say it's about 5 million are black immigrants. That means it'll be like 45, 46 million recipients. We cannot all get almost $3 million all at once. That would cause super inflation. So my plan calls for us to be paid in bonds, and we will be paid in installments over a period of time.
They're like savings bonds, war bonds, the Series EE bonds, things like that is what you're referring to,
It
or
will
you're.
be in that family. Of course, this will be a special plan, but this it will be in that family.
Okay.
It will be like the T bonds or the I bonds that do not are not affected by interest, but this will be a special type of bond issued just for this particular plan.
And do you know? And does is there like a length of time where that bond is can be cashed out, or can somebody hold? I mean, what is the length of time that person can hold that bond? Um,
Well, the bond will be theirs indefinitely, and the way it's supposed to be, we're supposed to get green dollars every time we're paid. The value of our bonds will decrease. So we have 2.8 million in bonds, and we will be paid. Don't quote me because I haven't looked at my plan around like $15,000 a month.
uh huh.
Obviously, every time we do that, then we lose $15,000 worth in bonds. So the bonds will be cashed out immediately. Now, if a person wants to give their bonds or their yellow dollars to a relative or whomever, they're free to do that. But that's the way the plan will work. The
Okay.
bonds will be cashed out immedity
And
upon you receiving your payment.
okay, because like on later on, you said you want an additional 200 billion for establishment of a new Freedmen's Bureau. Um, I
That will include the land grants, and that will also include a budget. Because the idea is the Freedmen's Bureau needs to be around for a while, so that will hopefully give the Freedmen's Bureau the time it needs to be able to oversee all of the programs that we're going to do. That's going to come with the payment of reparations. We definitely need our cash, but it's
right.
cash and then some more.
Oh, okay. And because I have my own opinions about the Freedmen's Bureau, and my own opinion is I wanted the Freedmen's Bureau to be refunded because it's still in the law. It's still in the books. As my research, um, you know, for based on my research, it still exists, but it's not been funded. There's no money in it. So my idea for Freedmen's Bureau is let it become another infrastructure bank of sorts, and where the profits will go back to every uh, African American freeman person. Um, is that something similar, or you just want the Freedmen's Bureau to just be an entity where it's just there to not just make money and filter out the proceeds to the descendants of slavery is just another structure that funnels money back to the freeman people, the descendants of slaves. Is that's how you? I hope I.
The
I hope I.
Freedmen's Bureau will serve as an administrative center.
Okay.
Whenever you have a reparations program, when they were paying the intern Japanese or their children, in the case that they were deceased, they set up a department just for that. When they were paying the Guamanians, like in 2016, they
Okay.
were, or 2015, 2016, they set up a department to handle all issues related to that. Native Americans who still get paid reparations, aka settlements, they have tribal governments that handle all issues pertaining to that. Whenever you do reparations, it has to be an administrative entity that's going to handle all matters pertaining to that. When the Freedmen's Bureau existed, it was primarily to serve freedmen. So we will have our own agency of the government that will deal with all affairs pertaining to us. It will deal with the disbursement of payments. If there's any issues, like people need assistance, it will deal with that. It will oversee the land grants, the business grants. It will oversee all kinds of discrepancies that we face in society, because we're going to need more than reparations.
Right.
Reparations is a necessity, but we have a lot of issues we face in society that need to be addressed. The Freedmen's Bureau will be a government that will be akin to the Native American tribal governments like the Choctaw, the Navajo. All they do is work on behalf of their people. The Freedmen's Bureau will work on behalf of our people.
Okay, because the reason why I said the infrastructure bank part, because about the Freedmen's Savings and what's it called, Freedmen's Savings thing that crashed in
The
1870.
Freedmen's Bank.
Bank and savings, yeah, and how much money was lost. I was thinking like in those terms. I'm just this is just my idea of how I would do the Freedmen's Bureau and how to trickle the money back down to the descendants of slaves. Um,
Well,
and
the Freedmen's Bank was a separate entity from the Freedmen's Bureau. The Freedmen's Bank was originally set up by people who were philanthropists, and then the government got involved later on and sabotaged it. It did
okay,
have government involvement, but it was originally set up by private citizens. But then the government got involved and sabotaged it. They tried to bring on Frederick Douglass to save it, but once he realized how all the corruption that existed, he was like, "Stop it, close it down." But so the
okay,
Freedmen's Bank, it will be a separate entity. Now I plan to have Freedmen banks. I plan for us to have Freedmen hospitals, Freedmen schools, Freedmen post offices. But it will definitely be something that we would oversee. And those who are in the Freedmen's Bureau, they will be supervised and they will be held accountable by us, those of us who are freedmen.
okay. Because I'm glad though you said it, because I was kind of confused between the Freedmen's Bureau and then the Freedmen's Bank and Savings and yeah, okay. I thank you for clearing it up for me, because I was trying to confuse by what you was saying about you want an administrative entity rather than a banking entity. Okay, I'm glad that you got that taken care of. So Okay. Okay. This is Big J. Um, back to you making a back at you Negroes sideways again for a Monday, November 12th, 2018. I want to make I was going to do a video on this, but I decided not to do a video. I decided just do a short live stream about the Black agenda. And I'm gonna say two shout outs to two people. Now, one of the names is in the title of this Google Hangout, and that person is the Madhead Doctor. Now, Madhead made two videos, and it's in the description box. So I want you to check that out. And in 15 minutes, there will be a video that's busy being uploaded as we speak. It's scheduled to be released in 15 minutes. Check that video out as well. But um, anyway, I want to make this point about the Black agenda. Oh, scratch that. And the second person I was going to say shout out to was Preem, because Preem said something in on the Obsidian Ali's channel live stream about 3-4 days ago, when he sat there and he said, we pay too much attention of being black and not enough attention of just being an American. Now, when Preem said this, I kind of looked at it funny when he said that. But when he sit there and he when he said that, I was kind of like, what the hell is he on? But I realized what he's talking about, because during the 1950s, the 1940s, black people, black men, black civil rights people from the Brown v. Board to the civil rights legislation of the civil rights law of 64. These leaders did not come to the table saying, "Oh, I'm black first, f the f the white man," and so forth. What they did was saying, "Wait, hold on. In this Constitution, you tell me I am a citizen, right? But wait a minute. If I'm supposed to be a citizen granted by the original articles of the Constitution and the 14th, the 13th, 14th, and 15th amendments of the Constitution that declares me to be a citizen of these United States, but where are my rights? I want you to show me where my rights are at." And that's how many of these laws were changed. Many of these laws, there was headway of getting things done. But many people want to attach themselves to the conscious community. Many of these people want to attach themselves to the woke community. And this woke slash conscious slash pro black ideology has been more of a hindrance rather than a help to the people that they're supposedly trying to exist. And many of the black those who expound who complain about the lack of a black agenda comes to the table or comes to these live streams, Facebook postings, and what may have you, the argument is based upon, well, don't vote because you're giving permission to this. We going back to Africa, or are we going to take over the state of Mississippi? We going to do this? Economics will save us. Uh, stop swirling. Stop talking to the white man. Don't eat pork. I'm like, is that really the black agenda? Is that really is the black agenda? Don't eat pork. Don't worry about politics. Don't sit there being involved in the quote unquote white man system. And if that is the black agenda of 2018, I don't want to be a part of it. But we got to make, if people are serious about the black, about having an agenda, excuse me, if we're so serious, scratch that, if y'all are so serious about having a black agenda, then shouldn't y'all's agenda be more based upon being an American agenda, rather than trying to make everything about some esoteric moon pie selling nonsense? I mean, but enough about the criticism about the conscious community and the woke community. Well, let me, and also to the black conservative, because the black conservative, I'm going to put a link in the description box about how the black conservative don't care, don't have any ideas for the black community as well. So it's not just the woke community, also the black conservatives as well. But here is my position and my ideology, if you will. And what I'm going to say might sound progressivism, but I believe in having a civic culture. I believe that having a civic culture that is based upon knowing the system, knowing how the system works, and knowing how the world works. Many of us don't realize how the system works. Don't know how the world works. Don't know how the banking institution works. Don't know how commerce and taxes and what may have you work. And this is the reason why we got people who don't know anything is talking about, oh, my name is John Farrow, therefore though don't vote y'all, but there are some UFOs abducting me every night. Oh, my name is Umar Johnson, therefore I'm collecting for a school that will never be built. We are becoming a nightmare amongst ourselves. Wrapped up ourselves in this one man hero, you know, uh, you know, one man hero type of outlook of the black community. Like one man can save the whole black race, and we got to get beyond that, right? But anyway, I know I'm kind of slow in giving out what my ideas are. And one of my first ideas is the revamping of the education system. And our education, the system that we have is based upon a an, an outdated system where 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 the payments, the money, the cash flow within that goes into these inner city schools is based upon the community. Well, how does an impoverished community produce good students? It does not. Everywhere you see a school in the inner city that are not functional because of the impoverished conditions. My idea, and I was having this argument on the Google Hangout I made about a few months ago, about 2 months ago, where I said that, okay, let's take Chicago for example, and I said, okay, you have a single mother who has an apartment, right? And the apartment costs about, let's say, 10,000. No, I wasn't 10,000, but 500 a month and so forth, right? I'm just using that as a base, right? Just using that as an example for an apartment for $500, right? Now, what if the school uh help that parent by, okay, let's say Dave, Sean, and Sharon, and the two kids that are in this apartment or in this house for you know but what if we, or should I say the school system, will pay for the light bill for for the parent if the student, if her children makes straight A's rather than making, see the way I see it, the way I see it, I know somebody will sit and tell me, well, Big J, you kind of being a socialist. Big J, you kind of being anti capitalist. I mean, you said that. Oh, Big J, you trying to produce a handout. Well, I would rather be a socialist in this regard when if you are rewarding the parents of of freedom from want, and therefore, no, I tell you this, one of the reasons why, one of the major reasons why there are dropouts in the inner city is the inability for the parent or for the child to maintain a a household. I mean, when I was in San Antonio, San Antonio, I noticed a lot of people was dropping out of school because they could not afford to eat. They could not afford to put, the shelter over their head. So therefore, that to quit school and get a job at the age of 15. So why not? Why not create a system where like we, as society, help the student stay in, by if they produce good grades and what may have you, that they will stay in. I'm just saying it just an idea that I just came up with. I could be wrong, but hey, it's just something that I've been mulling about for a long time. You know, and and a part of the um another agenda I would like to see is is something that I wrote. I remember back in 2013, 20, no, it wasn't 2013. It was 2014. I wrote uh, a piece of legislation that that was about creating um, a a peace and reconciliation council that would govern, or should I say, that would investigate and govern the the relations between the police and the various communities, especially the black and brown communities and those who are in poverty. And the way I will set it up is that each state should have a council, and they would gather the information. And when they gathered certain information, they will actually dole out a plan to the a plan for the federal government to um, I'll say it like this: go out the go out for which means what I'm saying is they will take a lot of the information and data of what has occurred from the past 50, 60 years, and allocated authority, or allocated power, and not necessarily money or cash, but change the makeup of standards and practices in the police force, uh, in local government, what may have you, with this certain type of uh, you know, um, arrangement. I know. I'm just thinking on top of my head, but that's what I would do. But I also would like to see is um, a statewide police board, a statewide. I mean, something that is very independent of the criminal justice structure, where like, okay, let's say I'll use the Trayvon Martin issue as a prime example, right? I'm gonna use that as a prime example. Okay, you have a system that is I wouldn't say part time, but they're not active yet, right? Well, okay, let's say something like a Trayvon Martin event occurred, and you just, um if something happened, a petition is it has been issued, and this commission is made up of working class people, and only working class people of that community. No mayor, no top governor official. I mean, people who are actually at the ground level root. So because like these are the people that have to have that is on the ground, and they see the problem up close. Because a lawyer, because Pastor Chickabone don't see Pookie and Ray every day, right? He only see Pookie and Ray only one time a week, and that's after church service on Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon. You know, um, a system that will actually become a legal binding force that will actually call certain people into and actually have the power to indict certain individuals that the local DA would not do, or the grand jury failed to do. Since that many of the grand jury is based upon a white population, or a population that is not sympathetic to 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 the people or to the person who was victimized. That's what I would like to see created. But I know I'm telling you a little bit, but it's not as much as I would like in detail. I would put this in detail, but I'm gonna take some of it close to my chest. And that's what I like to see. And I'm gonna say this too, though. I think the other thing about what needs to go into the black agenda is basically to end the drug war. I believe that the drug war should and must end. How many people got caught up for you have generations of men, generations of people going into the prison system for an ounce, or for allegedly trying to transport drugs, or trying to because somebody was trying to cross the street, or drive a block. Therefore you're trying to commit a conspiracy to conspiracy to sell. If you're driving a block, 2 blocks, when you have more than 5 ounces. Some of these laws have to be have to get rid of, and especially on marijuana and crack. You know, V-Dub Boogie said in the chat room, no, the drug war should be extend into the opioid crisis. And you do have a point. You know what? You do have a point. But I really wasn't talking about the white man, but you know what? You're absolutely right. Those he said those white distributors need to face the same consequence. You know what? You do have a point. You do have a point. A dude's dot said we need to focus on reforming the legal system. It could be done if we focus more on that than biracial dating nonsense. I donate to a program called the Innocence Project. Yeah. But going back to, and that's going to lead up to my other point I was going to make. I fully believe that the private prison system is unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional to have a private prison. Why? Why is it illegal to have a private prison? I'm gonna say why. Okay, the officer of the court, the officer of the law is bound by the Constitution of the United States, right? So if the warden is not bound by the Constitution of his state and of his country, what makes you think that the warden of this private prison is not going to abuse your rights? And you have people like Boyce Watkins, Michael Jordan. Well, allegedly, I should say, I'll say allegedly. You have certain people who are donating, who are even investing money to lock you up. You know, and that's what I feel. I feel that there needs to be an abolish of the private prisons. Okay, I'll tell you what. Tell you right here. Hold on. Right there could be a problem, and that goes against the 13th Amendment. That really goes against the 13th Amendment. Well, maybe, but if I was a prisoner and I did a crime, if I did a crime, therefore, the state should be the punishing authority that takes away my right. But why? But why is it that a private institution is governing over my life when they don't have the due process and have the authority to, on a constitutional basis, to jail me for my crime? That is something that needs to be talked about more. That's something that needs to be bring up more. You know, that's what I believe. And here is though another thing that I want to see, and this is more of a global issue. And brother Prophet and I, brother Prophet, who usually was the co-host of my hangouts, right? I was talking to him about this the other day, and I wish he comes back on my Google Hangouts. But the thing was, I would like to see a moral doctrine for Africa. Well, Big J, what do you mean a moral doctrine for Africa? And I know that the original moral doctrine was basically about protecting Latin America from the entrenchment by their former European masters. But in my version of a moral doctrine for Africa is 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 this is that I would like to see a since that black America is one of the most powerful group of black people on this planet. The most powerful black people on this planet is the African American, right? Because like we spent a trillion dollars. Allegedly, we spent trillions of dollars here in America amongst ourselves and amongst white people and what may have you. I believe with the Monroe Doctrine for Africa, we can have a free trade agreement with countries like Liberia, Sierra Leone, Ghana, and Ghana and uh, Nigeria. Now I know what y'all saying, but these countries are are mainly have an English speaking country, and I believe that if we use these countries as a base for the a moral doctrine style of economics to take the to fight the Chinese off of the African continent, I believe that we can do that. And and but I also believe, yes, Penny Proud, yes, I believe that Liberia and Sierra Leone, both of them have connections with the Black America and Black Britain. I believe those two countries uh, should be the center of this. And like for me, I was talking to this to the brother prophet, and brother prophet and I was talking about creating an international highway system, right? From 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 Morocco. Well, I wouldn't say Morocco at this time because Morocco still have their little the border issues. But let's just say for the sake of the argument, if you create in a highway system from Morocco all the way down to South Africa, you and not just a highway. I mean, a railroad system along with it. If you produce that alone, goods and services, and along with the shipping, with free trade with between the Liberians and the Liberians and Sierra Simones to America and Britain, we could we could produce a system of trade amongst the black population here in America, in Britain, in Canada, and especially those in the Caribbean. A free trade movement for 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 the diaspora. I'm just saying, I'm not giving out details of how like I would do it, but one of my but I would use Liberia and Sierra Simone as a base because of the historical nature of the historical relation between Liberia and the United States. So that's what I would it would create you know especially when you have people giving the raw. You see, America needs raw materials. They need yeah they need but they need our products. We need their raw materials. So why not create a free trade zone with Liberia, with Nigeria, and with the uh with the English speaking African nations. I'm gonna say this again. I know I'm kind of pushing away the francophones out, but Narvis TV said our first opinion should not be discussed. Potential moves online. Well, Narvis, I'd rather put out an opinion to counter the ridiculousness that is permeating on YouTube at this point, especially in the black sector. But going back to what Preem said, and what Preem said was controversial. We pay attention. We pay attention too much to the word black rather than paying attention to American. And Americans are known for being a capitalist, right? So it's time for us to adapt, to be more capitalistic in succeeding into gaining more and more resources and power. And but me personally, I have written a lot of. Do you have Robin Hood? No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't have Robin Hood. So anyway, Don talked about white families being split up the worst. Well, like, I do know that, Don. I do know white families being split up the worst. I do know that. But what does that have to do with the topic, though? Yeah, but I'm not talking about family court at this time. I'm talking more of the political and economics and trade policies that I would like to see that would benefit the African American, the Afro British, the Afro Canadian communities. And that's what I would like to see. So anyway, but anyway, y'all. Anyway, I'm going to bed and going to sleep. But I was just putting out my. I'm going to anyway. I'm going to hang this up. So I wish y'all the best. Wish y'all have yourself a good holiday morning. I guess some of y'all are off of work. I guess some of y'all are going to work as we speak. So anyway, I'm just putting down my ideas down. Well, the outline, I should say. And if y'all really are serious about this, let me know. The culture has changed. Folks are business minded. So yeah. Don, I was going to do a Veterans Day, a hundred years after the First World War. I was going to do a video on that, but I might do that tonight. I might do that video on the soldiers of World War One. I was going to do that. So anyway, no, folks are more, yeah. Well, anyway, y'all. I'll see y'all next time, y'all. Peace. I'm out. Well, Well. I mean, why should I talk about sex robots when I got women in my chat? I got two women in my chat. I could talk to. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.
Greetings and salutations. In this video, I will represent my view and my ideas for reparation for the descendant of African American slaves. This issue is very divisive, controversial in America as well in or within rather the African American society. For years, movements such as ADOS, FBA, Pan-African organizations, the Garveyites, and among other groups online and offline have done a great disservice to the discourse and debate, as well as political organizing. Therefore, I shall offer my own take, my own solutions, and ideas. And I hope that in this video, many of you would understand where I'm coming from. Now, I will not use the term reparations. And I will talk about that later on why. But I will use the term restitution instead. Like again, later on in the video, I will tell you why. But first, but because of the long, extensive history of this topic, of this subject, I'm going to narrow it down. I'm going to narrow it down to certain studies and certain research. History in the research that I have gathered is based on the works such as Robert Dale Owen's The Wrong of Slavery, which is a government position from the 1864 study, and Samuel Greedy Howell's The Refugee from Slavery in Canada West. From 1865, March 1865 to July 1874, the Freedmen's Savings and Trust Company was created and chartered by the United States Congress to ensure the financial security for the newly freed slaves and the African American soldier. Through these years, at least $57 million was dispositive before the mismanagement and corruption and death ended it. But here's what I propose today. That's my short history. But here's what I propose today. Here's my solution. Rebuild and recharter the Freeman's Bureau Savings and Trust as an infrastructure bank with 4 goals in mind. In fact, let me add a 5th goal in mind. 1, the restitution and rebate for the descendant of inventors who have their patent stolen and taken away. African American inventors. 2, funds to the historically black colleges and universities. 3, for infrastructure for low income communities. 4, each African American shall receive a monthly dividend for the next 100 years after its creation, since they are the current taxpayer of this country. And number 5, which I just added, is create a baby bond for new families. This bank would be similar. And let me backtrack on myself for a minute, because I forgot about to add on the reason why I prefer the language of restitution rather than reparations is because of several laws that was passed between the founding of this country and up till the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The 1807 Slavery Act of both the UK and of the United States. The 1820 Compromise, and the outlawing of the transatlantic slave trade. Since many descendants of slaves, were people born from illegal slaves who brought in after 1807, I firmly believe since it's a criminal act, so I believe the legal term should be restitution, not reparations. And since the Jim Crow is unconstitutional under the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment of the Constitution, I believe the term restitution is a repayment rather than a I know that's kind of further in the weeds, we splitting hairs, but I think that we should have a better argument when having a grand if we're gonna make things be successful. However, this bank would be similar to the first, second bank, national bank from the early days of this republic that is independent of the IMF, the World Bank, and the Federal Reserve. The first step is for every descendant of a slave to receive $115 billion based on the 1870s 57 million in the first year. And within the second step, in the next consecutive years, a total of 500 billion shall be added for investment with interest collected. The third step, if and when a business or a foreign government or a local municipality needed a loan, the American descendant of slaves shall receive interest held back monthly. And fourth, each fund shall be replenished annually. Now, this idea is not the entire idea I have. I'm keeping some of it to myself, and I might do a part 2 to this. I hope that in the next the next days or weeks ahead, when I produce a part 2, I hope that we will advance a certain idea, something that will change the dialogue and the discourse to be a more perfect, or should I say be better, so we have a better understanding of what really needs to happen and how to have repayment for those of us who are of African descent, and also to provide much needed justice in our society. Thank y'all for listening. My name is Big J, and part 2 will come up in the next few days or weeks. Thank y'all for listening.
Tale as old as time,
Song as old as rhyme,
moisturing the sheep.
Now, since I got your attention, greetings and salutations. This is BIGJXXX, and before I get to the meat and the crux of this video, I'm going to talk about the video I did the latter part of last year, a couple months ago. And in the video called "An Alternative to Reparations," I gave out my ideas for an alternative approach to the current reparations movement to counter the FBA, the fundamental Black American movement, and the other controversial movement called American Descendants of Slaves. And I know that the picture I have is very let's just say crude. So let's not let's not so please ignore the crude colors and lines, because I'm not going to explain it, because I'm not going to explain the entirety of my ideas, not online. So for this video, I'm not going to go to the details and of the policy positions that are hold what I would like to see done, but let me just give you an outline of it. And let me just, I don't know whether to call it the Monroe Doctrine for Africa or the transatlantic trade proposal or the transatlantic trade zone. And I'm gonna go into it, but first let's talk about a little bit of the history for those who don't know. Between 1450 and 1870 exists slaves being transported to one location of the world, from Africa to the West Indies and to the continents of the Western Hemisphere. According to France, 1.8 million out of 12.5 million were either lost or unaccounted for, meaning the transportation of slaves to their colonies, from Africa to their to places like Haiti, Louisiana, and some French portions of South America and the islands thereof. That's 1.8 million out of 12.5 million slaves was lost. And that's just a conservative estimate. In 1808, the United States and the United Kingdom of Great Britain have outlawed the transatlantic slave trade. In 1826, according to the British-Brazilian Treaty of 1826, Brazil joined in abolishing the transportation of slaves into Brazil. And since we're going to talk about the issue of ADOS, if we're going to talk about slavery when it concerns of the United States, many slaves, according to the Book of Negroes, I'm going to use this as a reference point of how many American slaves left the new nation called the United States. When the black loyalists left during the American Revolution, the liberal amount of 1,500 individuals left this new union to places like Nova Scotia. Then a second wave of black slaves leaving the United States was during the World War of 1812, at least 4,000. That's a conservative measurement. And during the Underground Railroad and current slave revolts between that time and the end of the Civil War, up until 1866, the conservative amount is 30,000 individuals leaving the Union into what we call Canada. And some of these Canadians, these newly black Canadians, according to the Book of Negroes, and according to other findings, left to other locations. Some went to the Caribbean, like the Bahamas, like the Trinidad, Jamaica. Some went to the United Kingdom itself, which in turn, the United Kingdom sent many of their black population to a place called Sierra Leone, and the United States have sent their free slaves starting from the early part of the 19th century to the country we now call Liberia. And both those countries are neighboring countries side by side in western part of Africa. So I would like to talk about the purpose of part 2 of the transatlantic trade proposal of mine. And here are the goals. The goals is simple. Because of the effects of slavery started by the British Crown, by the British government, and the American government, I believe that the diaspora and those on the continent of English-speaking African nations, primarily Sierra Leone and Liberia, should attain some form of repayment, or the descendants, I should say, should gain the repayment of past sins and crimes, since it's a crime of humanity. And according to the number, I'm trying to remember, I think it was the profit, and I'm going to use France's profit. I do not have the profit of the cost, of the percentage wise of the profits that was made. According to France, I don't know the United Kingdom's profit margins or the American profit margins out of hand, but 8% to 15% profits was made by France, and this is a conservative estimate, by the way. How much profit was made off of free enslaved labor? So what I would like to produce is a trade union to any country that has a sizable black population that speaks English. And right now I'm saying speaking those countries that speak English first. Now, I might sound hypocritical later on because I really want to use Haiti as a central point of the trade. Why Haiti? And that's if you see the blue line drawn from Florida down into Haiti. Why Haiti? Because first of all, Haiti is in the geographical center of the Caribbean, and Haiti is also the most poorest nation in the world. Well, one of the poorest nations in the Western Hemisphere, and also Haiti is one of the first, if not the first, countries formed by slaves, by black African slaves. And I believe that they should get any help that they can. So in the last video I made about going back to the recreation of the Freedmen's Bureau, which would be a which would be an infrastructure bank that would help black Americans, the ACBUs, the infrastructure, and baby bond. What I would like to see in expanding is also to link the Freedmen's Bureau to the other central banks that are in the Caribbean and also in the continent of Africa itself. And it is about reducing trade barriers and also produce tariffs for any country outside of the union itself, this trade union. Africa will send raw materials to us. We'll trade back to them with finished products, and with low cost, low fees. But if any outside group, China, Russia, any other country that does not have, that's outside of this union, will have to pay an extra tariff. Have to pay a tariff that would add it into the coffers of both the Freedmen's Bureau here in the United States and also to finance the infrastructure within the countries that I have listed below. And hopefully within the next 5 years, 10 years, the rest of the continent itself, the English, the French speaking, Portuguese speaking, German speaking, Arab speaking parts of the continent will be included. But for right now, I'm gonna speak with the English speaking parts of Africa first, because with the trade barriers, with the language barriers, it will be easier. with the language barriers, and then customs and laws are similar under English common law, and that people in Great Britain, the black community in Great Britain, Canada, will be getting repayment off of the tariffs in the goods, the tariffs of goods that's being paid by the outside of the trade union. And that's all I gotta say on the video. So like, share, subscribe. I would go in more on this, but I'm gonna keep the rest of this conversation to myself. There might be a third part to this, but I'd rather, I'm gonna talk about the details later on if you are interested. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.